rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Well, it does not matter. It does not matter. It really does not matter who the host is. That is not a lie, as we are hanging out on this lovely Tuesday, November the 23rd of 2021, day 327th of the year, and only 38 days left to go. Anyways, we are broadcasting live from our fisherman village out in the non-disclosed area. We'll talk about that at some point, I'm sure. Anyways, we're going across the multiverse of Safety FM. And then, of course, we're hanging out with our friends and colleagues and all that other fun stuff, at that other place that we do things at.
Radio.
Yep, we are hanging out with our friends at Radio Big, doing the stuff that they do over there. Anyways, a lot of fun stuff going on. I mean, as you know, depending on where you're at, either you're off this week or this could be definitely a short week for you. So it just kind of varies on how that circumstance normally comes around and about and all that other kind of fun stuff as we are moving and grooving. Good morning, Mr. Polzo. I hope everything is good and fine and fantastic with you as we are talking this morning. Anyways, let's continue talking about the things that are going across on the top charts of the songs, according to Spotify and iTunes. So here we go. Taking it in at the number 5 spot, according to iTunes, is Elton John and Dua Lipa with Cold Heart. At number 4, Walker Hayes with Fancy Like. At number 3, Kid Rock, Don't Tell Me How to Live, featuring Monster Truck. At number 2, State of Mind and Drew Jacobs with God's Country. And at the number 1 spot, according to iTunes, it's Adele with Easy on Me. Now, taking it from the other side of the house, here's what the layout of the land looks like. Adele, Easy on Me at number 5. At number 4, Ed Sheeran with Shivers. At number 3, Elton John and Dua Lipa with Cold Heart. At number 2, The Kid and Justin Bieber with Stay. And according to the number 1 spot, according to which Spotify has to say, they said that Oh My God is the number 1 song according to what is going on, according to them. So there you go. Anyways, we are hanging out this lovely Tuesday, the week of Thanksgiving, getting ready, getting prepped, doing all the fun stuff that you would normally do during those time frames to get ready and move and all that kind of fun stuff. So here's the gig. We had talked about this previously, so I guess we'll talk about it again right now. This will be a short week for us, but we'll talk a little bit about that tomorrow. So we will be back tomorrow. Don't worry about that. So we'll come out, hang out with you one day before Thanksgiving here in the lovely US of A, and then we'll take a move for the groove and then go from there. So anyways, as you are aware or not aware, our show consists of actually hanging out, doing some things, hanging out with our friends at Feature Story News. They come in, they're professional broadcasters. They talk about what's going on inside of the world, and then we kind of disappear for a few moments, and then we come back and give you some of our shenanigans and nonsense all tied in one spot. So here's the gig. If you want to contact us, it's easy to do so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. That will get you into our messaging system. That will get us into your text messaging system, our video messaging system, and even our live and dedicated lines. The fun part thing is you just put it into the browser and it goes directly from there. So it makes it pretty simple. Anyways, let's get you to our friends at Feature Story News, because I think that that's going to be important. So let's get that moving right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. At least 45 people have been killed in a bus crash in Bulgaria. The bus is thought to have been carrying tourists returning to North Macedonia from Turkey when it crashed and caught fire southwest of the Bulgarian capital. Ivo Boykov from Bulgaria's Eurocom TV says investigations are underway into what might have caused the crash.
For the moment, there are 7 survivors from this bus that are being held in a Sofia hospital that are out of danger. So unfortunately, the 45 people from the bus are being burned alive. What is more terrible is that out of these 45 people, there are 12 children.
Australia says a La Niña weather event is underway for the second year in a row. It means a higher risk of local flooding and cyclones. Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed says he's headed to the front lines to lead his army against rebels. The government's been fighting the Tigray People's Liberation Front for more than a year. It's a separatist group from the country's north intent on ousting the Prime Minister. Coletta Wanjohi reports from Addis Ababa.
A time for personal sacrifice is what the Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has called this moment. In a statement to the nation, he has vowed to be part of the fight against the rebels in the field. He has asked other citizens who are willing to be remembered in history, as he terms it, to join him. A conflict that began last year in November is still ongoing, much to the alarm of the international community. Now, 2 rebel groups are both claiming they are advancing towards the capital city, Addis Ababa, from different fronts. Under a 6-month state of emergency, the government has heightened security in the country. Some foreign countries are urging their nationals to leave. The United Nations has asked all non-essential staff to leave Ethiopia too. As the war rages on, the United Nations continues to sound the alarm that a humanitarian crisis affecting 7 million people is worsening. Coletta Wanjohi, Addis Ababa.
UK MPs have narrowly backed changes to social care plans for England, despite concerns poorer pensioners could be worse off. It means council support payments will be excluded from a new £86,000 cap. Prime Minister Boris Johnson says it's incredibly generous. Some senior Conservatives refuse to support the reforms. Baroness Altman is a former pensions minister who says there is likely to be further opposition.
I would be very surprised if there wasn't deep disquiet in the House of Lords, mirroring that of the Commons across the House as to whether this is really the fairest, best way to try to reform social care, which is clearly urgently in need of radical reform.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks, looking today at persistent American concerns now being communicated to the country's European allies that Vladimir Putin may be planning to launch an invasion of Ukraine. For weeks, a substantial Russian military presence has sat just over the border from eastern Ukraine, troops who participated in military exercises and then never left. 7 years after the Russian president annexed Crimea, it's leading to fresh anxieties that he may have additional territorial designs on Ukraine.
One of the great fears you have in these sort of situations where tensions are rising is that there's some unexpected development that is not under the control of either side.
Jim Lindsay is an analyst with the New York-based Council on Foreign Relations.
I'm always reminded of an incident during the Cuban Missile Crisis when a routine U.S. Air Force reconnaissance mission over the North Pole went awry. The pilot of the U-2 became disoriented and ended up flying into Soviet airspace. The U-2 pilot was able to recover his bearings before there was an interception. But it's not too hard to imagine how, if things had gone slightly differently, it could have changed the course of that crisis.
Russia denies any hostile intent, but is accusing the U.S. of using the standoff as a pretext to help the government in Kiev secure fresh supplies of high-tech weaponry. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, at least 45 people have been killed in a bus crash in Bulgaria. Australia says a La Niña weather event's underway for the second year in a row. Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed says he's headed to the front lines to lead his army against rebels. And UK lawmakers have narrowly backed changes to social care plans in England, despite some Conservative MPs rebelling. That's the latest feature story news. Ollie Barrett reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
You know how sometimes in life you have those moments of shoulda, coulda, woulda, you know what I'm talking about. It happens all the time to people. So let's talk about that very sensitive subject of male pattern baldness. Don't go through that moment where you're going, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Let's talk about my friends at Keeps. 2 out of 3 men experience some form of hair loss by the time they are 35, with more than 50 million men in the U.S. suffer from male pattern baldness. You don't have to be one of them. Think about this. There are only 2 FDA-approved medications that can prevent hair loss, and my friends at Keeps offer both. Keeps offers simple, stress-free way for you to keep your hair, convenient virtual doctor's consultations, and medication delivered straight to your door. I mean, I have to tell you, just for the whole sake of not having to leave your house to have the consultation, that should sell itself. But the low-cost treatments start just as low as $10 per month, and Keeps offers generic versions. Discreet packaging and proven results. Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors. I want you to think about that. People love the product. Prevention is key. Treatment can take 4 to 6 months to see results, so act fast. All you have to do to take action to prevent hair loss is to go to keeps.com. That's KEEPS.com/safety to receive your first month of treatment for free. That's keeps.com, KEEPS.com/safety to get your first month free. That's KEEPS.com/safety. Remember, not everybody has such a beautiful head as mine. So don't be saying coulda, shoulda, woulda. Act on Keeps right now.
I spend a lot of time in the backyard, and I'm the center of attention at summer barbecues. In '96, I made some of the tastiest s'mores. And in '09, it was me, your backyard fire pit, that accidentally started a wildfire when a summer breeze carried one of my embers into some dry brush.
Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com, brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hope you enjoyed your meal. And I just want to say, he's lucky to have a brother like you.
Lucky? Caring for my brother is far from easy. But he's a part of me, like my arms and legs, so I'll be his. No time for tired. Nothing can disable this love. He needs me, but I'm the lucky one, even though I need help now and then.
If you're caring for a loved one, visit aarp.org/caregiving for care guides and community support for your strength. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
What if I told you that a tornado was going to happen tomorrow, right where you live? That it would touch down at exactly 3:17 p.m. and I told you the exact path it would take. You would, of course, prepare. You would talk with your loved ones, and you'd make a plan today. It's true, I can't tell you a tornado will strike tomorrow, but shouldn't you have a plan anyway? Go to ready.gov/communicate and make your emergency plan today. Don't wait. Communicate. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. You can make a difference by dropping off a hot meal and saying a quick hello. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves only on Safety FM.
Why is it always about like self-imploding and things along those lines? I never get it. Anyways, let's see, 16 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging and doing the things that I do. I have to tell you this because I probably have not had this discussion. This chair that has been provided to me since I've been here It's like a bar stool, and I can't touch the ground, and it drives me crazy. I just wanted to share that. Yeah, I want to complain as I start off this thing. Anyways, let's get into the moves and grooves of things, of what is going on inside of the actual world here as we are talking and doing all the things that we do. So let's take it from the very top of the hit list of what is going on according to the news and all that kind of fun stuff. So Anthony Lafredo, a 33-year-old Frenchman who wants to become a black alien, recently underwent surgery of removing 2 of his fingers to make his hand look more like a claw. The wannabe extraterrestrial has already had his nose and upper lip cut off. His tongue split, the entire body, the eyeballs included, covered in tattoos. Despite of all that, he claims that he's the only to achieve 34% of his goal into turning into a alien, according to The Sun. That's not a joke either, as I say that. His body is altering process can be followed on Instagram on his account. If you want to take a look at it, you can find it at Black Alien Project, and that is not a joke. So all you have to do is go to Instagram and look under Black Alien Project. I got a question. Do you notice that when it's a holiday on how much slower the news is than what it is normally?
Duh.
Hey, I mean, I'm just asking the question here. I just want to make it a little bit more obvious than normal. So don't worry about that. I just want to make sure that we shared. Anyways, federal officials announced Monday that they are seeking more than $160,000 in fines from 8 airline passengers incident involving alcohol. The FAA said that the biggest single proposed fine is topping, let's see, about $40,000. Involves a passenger who brought alcohol onto a plane and drank it, smoked marijuana in the bathroom, and sexually assaulted a flight attendant in April. This was not an April Fool's Day joke either. The fines represent the latest attempt by the FAA to crack down on unruly passengers. Now, I will tell you, over the last little bit, I've been able to have the opportunity to be on some flights, but they're not serving alcohol these days. So which flights are they? And if the person brought in their own alcohol, which they are saying now when they're doing the overhead that you can't drink your own alcohol, what's up with the duty-free stuff? Like, is that just not a thing anymore? I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking the question. I guess everybody needs to do their own gig on how exactly that stuff would work, because I would have no way to really identify on what would need to be done on that particular sequence. Seriously.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, U.S. home sales rose in October, reaching their highest level in 9 months, according to a report of the National Association of Realtors. Existing homes sales rose by 0.8% to an adjusted annual rate of 6.34 million units, the highest level since January. Economists polled Reuters had predicted that the sales falling at a rate of 6.20 million units. So there you go. The highest prices and limited supply continue to sideline first-time home buyers. So there you go. So here's my question for you. And this is a serious one, so I have to ask the question. At this particular moment in time, if you are close to considering retiring, or maybe even not so close, if you had the opportunity to sell your home at probably one of the highest prices that you could sell it at the moment, and then move somewhere else, maybe retire, go to a different country, whatever, is this something that you would consider doing at the time? I mean, this is probably going to be one of the, the biggest jumps in the market when it comes to that at the moment. So I don't know. Is this something that you would consider? Definitely, it would be some interesting times, especially depending on what you do. Like, what would be the timeline that you would have to give consideration to? Like, would it be, hey, I'm 5 years away from retiring, X amount of time away from retiring, or would it be one of those things that if you were going to retire, you're still keeping your main home? I mean, I don't know. Sometimes I look at when you get into the retiring age, not that I'm in close to that anytime soon, I have to look at it as how would you have too much home, depending on, on kid activity and all that kind of fun stuff. Just stuff to think about, of course. Anyways, let's continue talking, and let's kind of get back to what we should be talking about. A man who ended up in a mental institution for more than 2 years over a case of mistaken identity is now suing the state of Hawaii and various Honolulu police officers. Attorney Joshua, and we won't butcher his last name just to do him a favor, filed for a lawsuit against on Sunday about how bizarre the case is. It all started when Josh. So let's see. Attorney for Joshua. Blah blah blah. So Joshua's attorney is filing this. So here's the story. Who was homeless and hungry and falling asleep on a sidewalk while waiting online in a Honolulu shelter back in 2017. When officers woke him and he thought that he was being arrested for violating the city's ban on laying in public sidewalks. Abandoned laying in public sidewalks. The officers had instead confused him with Thomas Castleberry, who had a warrant for his arrest and who had allegedly been violating his parole. Despite Joshua's protest, he was placed in Hawaii State Hospital, where he was forced to take psychiatric drugs, according to the lawsuit. When a doctor uncovered the mix-up, official tried to cover it up by quietly setting him free with just 50 cents to his name. His lawsuit alleges false imprisonment, intentional infliction of emotional distress, malicious prosecution, abuse of the process, and other claims. It is unclear what he is seeking for compensation. So there you go. The real Thomas Castleberry is in jail in Alaska with an expected release date of 2022. So think about that for a moment. All of a sudden, you get thrown into the pokey for some mistaken identity gimmick. And all of a sudden, the guy that they were looking for the whole time was actually arrested as well. Well, maybe not in that timeline, but maybe something to think about. But also at the same time, too, you cannot prove that you are you because they're saying that you're not who you claim you are. Now, doesn't that make that an interesting story on how that actually ends up working? Just something to think about.
Enjoy the best safety shows on the planet on safetyfm.com.
Okay, so let's go. Students in Vermont participated in the State of Transportation Department's name Plow contest, coming up with a creative names of snowplow serving their community. Some of the names selected include Captain Snowpants, Jennifer Snowpeas, Snowbegone Kenobi, Plowy McPlowerface, and Burrito. Burrito, like BRR. Rito, and then the last but not least, Steve. So there you go. That one's pretty creative. Hey, what do you think we should name this thing? Let's go ahead and just call it Steve. Anyways, let's get some Johnny Smalls inside of here and let him tell you about what's going on with the Motivation Minute.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Tuesday, November 23rd, 2021. Equities got a boost from good news on Monday that set the S&P 500 up to a new all-time high. The news? Jerome Powell has been nominated for another term as the head of the Federal Open Market Committee. As the head of the committee, he will be tasked with monitoring the U.S. monetary policy and keeping tabs on inflation. With inflation running hotter than expected, it's expected the FOMC will be raising rates next year. The question is, by how much? The CME's FedWatch tool, an indication of market sentiment regarding interest rate hikes, has seen the average expectation creep higher in recent weeks, with most participants expecting at least one hike by June, and many believe the first will come much sooner than the June meeting. You can get the inside track from Wall Street's brightest minds delivered directly to your inbox every day at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for the Market Beat Minute right there. It is 25 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out. Let me tell you what we found on our end. Stocks finished up on a mixed on Monday as the Dow added 70 points, the NASDAQ plummeted 202, and the S&P dipped 15. The yield on the 10-year Treasury bond rose by 8-point basis during the session. The rise occurred after Jerome Powell was nominated to serve another term as the chairman of the Federal Reserve, as you just heard. Moderna surged more than 7% after the FDA cleared the way for its virus booster shot to be given to more and more Americans. So there you go. Anyways, let's continue talking. As you are aware, if you are in the U.S. of the A, you got a hot moment coming up real quick in regards of what is going on with Thanksgiving. So take a listen to this. Target will no longer open its stores on Thanksgiving Day. The retailer announced permanent shift to the unofficial start of the holiday season that was that was suspended during the pandemic. The Minnesota-based company says it is the first of the major retailers to make the permanent move during the pandemic. It is likely that others will follow. And I have to tell you, it is a shitty, yes, and I did say shitty situation where those stores were open just for people to get onto some retail sales. And then, the people that work there, well, I have to bail on you today during this reason that we're supposed to be giving thanks for I can go to work and not hang out with you. It was kind of a weird thing. But then if you're kind of a loner, then that's probably was not that big of a deal for you if you were thinking about it there in the long run.
Duh.
Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world here. Deidre Walla-Wink may be the oldest person to climb the Yosemite El Capitan rock formation in California. The 70-year-old New Yorker made it to the top of the 3,200-foot vertical wall on September the 23rd, her birthday, breaking her own record of reaching the summit. She's the first accomplished the feat back in 2017 when she was 66 years of age. So there you go. Congratulations on that, because I'm sure it's not something that everyone can do.
Duh.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, so let's start talking about some other things. Thanksgiving staples have not spared from the price of inflation. The American Farm Bureau estimates a Thanksgiving feast for 10, complete with sweet potatoes, rolls, veggie trays, pies, and whipped cream, will cost about $53.31 this year. This is up 14% from last year. Prior to 2021, the annual cost estimate had been falling since about 2015. The USDA reports, that the average wholesale price of an 8 to 16 pound frozen turkey is about $1.35 a pound. That's up 21% from a year ago. So there you go. So a lot of stuff there. I don't know. So it sounds like food's getting more expensive. Gas is getting more expensive. Everything's getting more expensive as we're going through the thing. And we kind of knew that inflation was going to be a thing as we continue to talk about the things that were going on this year. So are you surprised? I don't know. Are you not surprised? I don't know. A lot of stuff to think about. That is for sure.
What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Okay, Daryl Brooks, 39, the man who drove his SUV into the parade in Wisconsin on Sunday, has been hit with 5 counts of first-degree intentional homicide. Police Chief Daniel Thompson said Monday that Brooks was involved in an unrelated domestic incident prior to the attack, but fled before the officers arrived. The 5 people that were killed have been identified as Virginia Stinson, 79, Leanne Owens, 71, Tamara Durand, 52, Jane Kullich, 52, and Willem Hospel, 81. 48 other people were injured, including 2 children who are in critical condition. Brooks was released on bail on Friday, and he has a lengthy rap sheet including resisting or obstructing an officer, recklessly endangering safety, disorderly conduct, bail jumping, battery, reckless endangerment, and illegal possession of a firearm. An investigation into how and why he was released on such low bond amount is definitely under its way. So there you go. Don't like sharing some of this stuff sometimes. You know how it goes, but we have to talk about this because we cannot just say, hey, one thing and not talk about the others. It's not the way to do it. But man, what the hell is going on there? That is for sure. Anyways, it is currently 30 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Tuesday. So let's get moving and grooving. And I think that it might be time for us to talk about that wonderful time and that wonderful moment where we talk about our main story. So I think that we should probably go ahead. Oh, should we do that now? I think we should. I mean, it's probably no better time than now to do so.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
So here we are on Tuesday, hanging out on the week right before Thanksgiving, or the week of Thanksgiving, hanging out a few days before, doing the things that we do together. So hopefully you've been having some times, either you are right on the verge of the end of the week for you, because probably tomorrow will be your last day if you are working this week, or you're enjoying your time off, which I get it either way. But, at some point, we have to sit back for a moment and think about, innovation. We have to talk about innovation and changes and things that work and things that don't work, but things that innovate and change the process of how things go into the future. And I guess that as I sat back and was kind of, planning this whole thing out to talk about this, I looked at it and I said, there's so many things that we can discuss. There's so many innovative things that had occurred to this point that we had to take a look at it and say, okay, which ones do we want to focus on? I mean, we can go back as far as Henry Ford and talk about what cars look like, or what they were attempting to call a car, before he came in and started saying, okay, this is what some of the innovation needs to look like for this to actually work and make it a competitive market. I mean, that could be one thing. Like, if you do look into anything inside of the car industry, you will realize that what cars look like, or what they were attempting to do as cars, before he came in and did his version of what the engine should look like and how it should move forward, it really changed a lot of things. Now, don't get me wrong, what the original founders had decided on what they were attempting to do, was it a bad idea? Possibly not. But there had to be some other innovative ideas to change things. There had to be some add-ons. There had to be some bolt-ons, quote unquote, to add to the sequence of events to make something better. Now, listen, there's so many things in life that this applies to. I mean, think about this. Think about the car, think about the airplane, think about electricity, think about how all of a sudden television, how it was existing so many years ago. And nowadays, I mean, let's just think about this real quick. The simplicity of streaming. The simplicity of streaming that you can do at your house compared to what television first looked like when it first came out. Think about the technology that you have. Think about the technology that you have in your phone compared to the technology that was on the first space shuttle. It's mind-boggling when you start thinking about innovations that have taken place that makes that phone so powerful, but that first space shuttle is not as powerful as your phone in regard to the tech that it has. So what does this bring me to? What does this make me want to tell you? What does this make me want to discuss with you? Sometimes inside of our jobs and inside of our careers, things are not going to be perfect. Sometimes inside of our workplace, things are not going to be exactly we want them to be. But, and that's a big but, I might add, there are some innovative ideas that have a good platform, a good standard, a good bone structure, a good skeleton that can help you build on from. Listen, I'm going to tell you, not every idea that we've come up with in this joint has been good. Not every idea that we've done overall has been great. But there has been some ideas that have come about that when we do them, they have worked out into other things to be that things that we didn't expect. Like, let's be realistic. When it came to the radio station, we didn't think that we were going to do on-demand streaming service. We didn't think we were going to do video. The amount of shows that we have helped start throughout the industry was not something that we thought that we would do. We thought that we'd be focusing on radio station alone. But things change. Things improve. Things increase. And that's the way that things go. Innovation can be anything that you want it to be at the time that it's happening. Listen, not every idea is perfect and not every idea is great, but also at the same time as well, it's what you decide to put into it. It's being able to be able to take a look at stuff and realize what works and what does not work. It's not easy because look at it in this fashion. Imagine you've been working on something for 6 or 7 months, maybe a year, maybe 2 years, maybe even longer than that. And somebody comes in and tells you that it's not great. But there are some structures that are inside of there that can make it work even better. Is it really what you want to hear? The answer is probably no. But if you're willing to take that innovation, and it might not be what you want it to be at the very beginning, it ends up being something greater than what you ever planned in the first place, I think you're going to be pretty excited about it. So listen, maybe because what we do for work, sometimes it's not the greatest idea starting off on what we're wanting to do. But some of that innovation that you've put into place can really make it something even more special than what you ever expected. Sometimes it's not about going with the flow. Sometimes it's about actually thinking about what's there and really making it something that you didn't think it was going to be. That's something to think about. But then again, what do I know? I'm just a guy behind a microphone.
What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
We all want to make sure that our family is protected in medical emergencies. What many of us don't realize is that health insurance won't always cover the full amount of an emergency medical flight. Even with comprehensive coverage, you could get hit with high deductibles and copays. That's why an Air Medcare Network membership is so important. As a member, if an emergency arises, you won't see a bill for air medical transport when flown by an AMCN provider. Best of all, a membership covers your entire household for as little as $85 a year. AMCN providers are called upon to transport nearly 100,000 patients a year. This is coverage no family should go without. Now, as a Jay Allen Show listener, you'll get up to a $50 e-gift card with a new membership. Simply visit airmedcarenetwork.com/safety and use the offer code SAFETY. And don't forget to tell them that Jay Allen sent you.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you. Don't worry, I know what to do.
Know someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets, and they all have one thing in common. Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog and cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard, that's optional. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Allison is perfect. I mean, she'd never tell you that. She's humble and perfect. She likes everyone. She even likes her untitled roommate's weird guinea pig. Allison, wait, are you texting and driving? Allison, no. That's the exact opposite of what I was just saying about you. Why, Allison? Why? Texting and driving makes good people look bad. Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosa Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you.
41 minutes past the top of the hour. This is Basics with The Chase. The song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. Don't you love the 80s feel that this thing has? Anyways, thanks to the Basics for allowing us to play this one on Radio Big and Safety FM, especially for the Rated R Safety Show. Okay, so there you go. Let's get moving and grooving into some other stuff that is going on inside of this lovely world of ours and doing the things that we do around here. So do you have anything, extravagant going on this week? Do you have any big plans and all that other kind of fun stuff? I just wonder. I'm always curious on what is going on, because it's always some fun times depending on what you exactly have planned out, if you want to share and all that other kind of fun stuff. Anyways, let's continue talking about some things that are going on inside of the world of the news, because this is always important. So, just like the golden days, let's talk about this real quick. Lately, we're hearing a lot about the so-called super cold going around. People are posting on social media about the knocked out commission for 2 weeks at a time, complaining about the worst cold they've ever had. And some are referring to the non-COVID version, chest sinus infection. Well, if you've ever had one, here are some news. It's just a cold. You're not going to get used to them anymore or anything like that. A top infectious disease expert says that there is no evidence that a super cold getting people sick in the recent months. Researchers believe that it's just forgotten what it's like to be unwell while staying indoors during the coronavirus pandemic. Professor Neil Mabat from the University of wherever the hell this says that it is, says that the absence of most viruses last year are due to the rigorous COVID safety measures that had led to the warning of immunity to some common illnesses. Although the people who are most suspicious of the cold flu during the pandemic, blah 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 blah. But unfortunately, most of us are very accustomed of laying around on the couch all day. So there's that. So something to think about. And then no, not me, of course. That's because I'm the only one on earth who somehow managed to catch 2 colds last year while in lockdown. So there you go. Something to think about as we are talking. Anyways, let's talk about some other things going on the other side of the equation. Slip sliding away. Yes, slip sliding away. 5 out of 6 types of winter boots fail a slip test on ice, according to the investigation of Marketplace, a program on Canada's national broadcaster CBC. Looked at the popular winter boots brand Merrell, Sorel, Kamik, Ugg, and Timberland and Wind River. Yes. To see how they fare in wet, icy surfaces. The Wind River proved to be the only boot that allowed wearer to walk uphill at an angle of 15 degrees without slipping on wet, icy surface. It is believed that the reason is that the windsurfer boots fared so well in testing is because they are manufactured of fiber-embedded soles. The fiber consists of abrasive material which have some kind of traction on wet surfaces. It's going to sound like a stupid question, but I'm guessing they put that stuff in winter tires too. I mean, I know that sounds stupid, but I'm just asking. They also determined that 5 out of 6 teenagers wouldn't be caught dead wearing winter boots or a hat. So there you go. Just for the record, too, even the Wind Rivers won't help you if you get hit by a Zamboni. So just something to think about as we are talking on this lovely, 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 lovely morning.
What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
So let's talk about this real quick, because this is something that we normally would not. So let's go ahead and take the opportunity to do so right now. Failing passwords for 2021. Yeah, this is going to be one of those interesting ones. It's hard to believe, but some people are still using passwords like 123456 as well as password. Cybersecurity company NordPass has released its annual list of most common passwords and says that too many people are using passwords that can be suggested as a easy guess. This year, it is most commonly in passwords passwords top the usual suspects, such as the word password, QWERTY, and the different variations of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. NordPass says that 144 out of 200 top most common passwords can be cracked in less than 1 second. Here are the top passwords as they did come about. So here you go. And coming in at number 5 was 123. At number 4 was 111111. At number 3, password. Yes, that's you can get. Wow, what did that camera just do to me? What did that camera just do to me? Oh my Lord. So that's what you can just get right there. So 111111. Number 2 was QWERTY. So that's something to guess. And then at the number 1 spot, it was a variation of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So there you go. So some suggestions strengthening your password is use a complex, long, unique passwords for each account. Store them in a password manager. Use a multi-factor authentication. Suggest changing your passwords as it appears on the top 200 link. So just in case. And then is it just me, or do you find it weird that cybersecurity company is giving out people passwords? I mean, think about that for a second. I'm fortunate that such poor speller that my passwords are long and unique, and nobody would ever crack them down because, hey, that's just kind of the way that it actually works. Anyways, let's continue talking. No winner for Friday night's Mega Million drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for $83 million jackpot, or $59.3 million cash payout. So if you're interested in playing the game, it might be able to do so. Just in some news, because I like the movie, I'll talk about this real quick. The Matrix is heading to IMAX. Warner Brothers will release the film of the first time in IMAX on December the 7th and 8th in select markets in the U.S. The release comes just weeks before The Matrix Resurrections hits theaters on December the 22nd. So there you go. If you're interested in actually taking a look, you got an opportunity to do so. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world as we're doing our move and our groove and all that kind of fun stuff. Let's talk about something that happened back on this date, as we are 48 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's see real quick. Phil Mickelson claims the $9 million winner takes all prizes in the dramatic golf duel with Tiger Woods. The pair ended up finishing under floodlights in Las Vegas on the 22nd hole. Mickelson sings a 4-foot putt to make history right there. That happened back in 2018. If you're looking for some birthdays today, let me talk about some of those that are going on right now. Taking it from the top of the list, Miley Cyrus turns 29 today. Nicole Snooki Polsey turns 34. Lucas Gabriel turns 37, Justin Turner 37, Paige Kennedy 45, Chris Hardwick turns 50, Michelle Gomez turns 55, John Chatnier turns 60, and then Bruce Hansby turns 66 today. So there you go. There are some birthdays for you if you're interested in taking a look at some of those. Anyways, let's get you into some motivation. This time it will actually be the Motivation Minute. Let's get John back in here.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote has been submitted by Reed. Eckhart Tolle said, "The past has no power over the present moment." I agree with this to a point, but your past can catch up to you if you make bad choices. So be careful to make good choices. Then I agree with this completely. Don't spend too much time thinking about what might have been, because you made a different choice, and that might have been will never be. Focus instead on the future. If it's not going the way you want it to, shift your focus now to get back on track to the future you want. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Your Wellness Minute is brought to you by AlysaMorgan.com. We tend to associate Thanksgiving with spending time around food, family, and friends. However, not all of us get to spend this holiday with our loved ones. To be clear, some of us get to spend Thanksgiving alone and love it, but others of us struggle. If you're feeling lonely around this holiday, here are a few tips to make the best of it. Treat Thanksgiving like a bonus day off. Engage yourself in something creative that you love to do. Stay off social media and focus on self-care. Do something meaningful for others. Volunteering or calling to check in on a friend or family member that you haven't spoken to in a while. Come up with your own tradition. One way to make the best of Thanksgiving by yourself is to look at it as more of an opportunity than a setback. If you're going to be away from loved ones during the holidays, it may be the first time you can do things your way. This minute was brought to you by Wellness Reset. For more information, please check out alasamorgan.com.
What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM. You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, 51 minutes past the top of the hour as we are hanging out, doing the things that we do on this lovely, lovely, lovely Tuesday. Let me tell you about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or have lost a loved one, know that you are not alone. Hear about personal experience from people in your local communities whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to afsp.org. That is afsp.org, or you can call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word talk to 741-741. Hey, you never know when you're going to need them, or if you know someone who might. So there you go. Anyways, let's talk about some other things going on inside of the world of the news. Let's talk about Did You Know? The perfect hug lasts between 5 to 10 seconds, according to science. Psychologists at the University of London found that the longer the hug, between 5 to 10 seconds, delivers a more positive impact compared to the shorter ones. They have also learned that arm positioning, whether crossed around the waist or the shoulder, did not matter. A 1 second hug are less pleasant, under control than 5 to 10 second ones. Researchers concluded that the 10 second huggers may reach a plateau in pleasantness. So there you go. The next time you go in for the hug, you know what to do. It's between 5 and 10 seconds, so it's 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi. That's a long hug. Don't touch me for so long. What's going on here? This is too crazy. This is too crazy. Okay, just kidding. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of this lovely world of ours as we are talking. Anyways, let's talk about some whack facts. Your big toes have only 2 bones each. The rest of your toes have 3. The J.R.R. Tolkien type the entire 1,200 page of manuscript of the Lord of the Ring trilogy with 2 fingers. The marshmallows in Lucky Charms are technically known as marmots. Coconut shells can absorb more impact than most crash helmets. The Battle of Waterloo 1815 wasn't fought in Waterloo. It was fought in the Netherlands, 4 miles, in Panticote, Netherlands, 4 miles away. The day after tomorrow is known as Overmorrow. Did you know that? I did not know the Overmorrow thing. That's something new to me. So hopefully we now know something new together. Something to think about as we are talking. Anyways, if you need some scoops of BS, let's give you some of these real quick. BTS won an AMA on Sunday, including Artist of the Year, or won 3 AMAs on Sunday, including Artist of the Year, and they traded all 3 of the single chest hair. So there you go. The first Thanksgiving was held in October of 1621, some 400 years ago. It remains an American institution, just like Betty White and Mel Brooks. Snooki is 34 today. It's not too late to get her a gift. She registered for Bed, Hot Bath, and Beyond Crazy. Miley Cyrus turns 29 today. If you're thinking of getting her something she'll use, I wouldn't suggest a bra. Some retailers and business insiders predict that the new FDA regulations could kill the vaping industry, and suddenly the FDA approval rating shot up by 110%.
What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
So let me give you some information real quick, just for the sake of doing so. Let's talk about some random things that have occurred during the pandemic. So let's talk about this real quick. When you're not dazzling fans on stage and on screen, some stars are making a killing on Cameo, the app that follows that allows people to pay for their favorite A-listers, even D-listers, to a record personalized video message for themselves and their friends. Here are the 5 top paid ones, just for the sake of doing so. Brian Brackinger, Kevin of The Office, cost about $225, and he has earned over $1 million Gilbert Gottfried, loudmouth comedian, $175, has earned over $450,000. Mick Foley, former pro wrestler, cost $149. He's actually made over $445,000 so far. Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, the investor, cost $1,500, and he has earned $350,000 so far. Michael Rappaport, comedian actor, cost $159,000, and he's made up to $300,000 so far. And just some one-offs here. Carol Baskin from the Tiger King cost $199. She's earned $150,000. Big Ed Brown from 90 Day Fiance cost $65. She made $122,000. Rudy Giuliani, Donald Trump's former attorney, $259, has earned $11,000. You wouldn't pay me to do that. Rather, you wouldn't. I mean, I just doesn't make it. I don't get it. I mean, but I guess if you are able to do it, why not do it? That's one of the things that I would say. Hey, if people are interested, go ahead and do it for them. There you go. Anyways, let's talk about some other things as we're getting you out of here. Let's talk about let's give you the random joke. Let's just give you the random joke because it is 57 minutes past. So let's go from there. So here we go. If you need a random joke for today, what is it that I've been shopping for over 25 years now and still have nothing to wear? I mean, I just don't get it. Also, if you need a phone starter for today, try this one. What old school phrase would sound funny if you used it today? That's pretty heavy. I don't know. I mean, there's some things to think about for sure there. Also, if you need something for the water cooler, you can try this one. 75% of women say they do this during the holidays and than any other time of the year. What is it? Cleaning. I mean, I don't even think that that's limited to women. I think that that's like everybody inside of the household. What people are coming over? We must clean. Just kind of the way that it goes. I mean, I'm just saying. Anyway, so there you go. You've been listening to the Rated R Safety Show exclusively on Safety FM and RadioBig.fm. Safety FM is the home of real safety talk. We can't do what we do without you. The most important part of Safety FM and Radio Big, that is the listener. If you want to come out and hang out with me, I will be going up at the top of the hour to RadioBig.fm. We'll be doing some music, some exclusives, and all that other kind of fun stuff. Also, I have a whole other list that I want to talk about. We'll talk about it on that end. Anyways, if I could leave you with a thought for today before we start getting into the holidays, here you go. If you can't excel with talent, triumph with effort. Think about it. Sometimes it's not just talent alone that you need. It's the effort that you have to drive behind it. I know who you are. No, I really do. You know who I am.
Duh.
Love you, mean it, and goodbye. I will see you tomorrow if you're not coming over to RadioBig.fm. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.